Hello, this is Crypto CJ. Welcome to today's trade of the day. It's the Friday afternoon Zoom edition, and we've had a really cool week in crypto for the most part. Bitcoin has been over 50 for most of the week and stayed up there. So let's check it out. Okay, that's not. Okay, you guys seeing my 5-minute Bitcoin chart?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, cool. Day chart. All right, so let's look at the 4-hour. So we punched through 50K on the 5th, just a few days ago. Did dip below and then take off again. It flirted with 56 in the wee hours of the morning, and then back down in the 54s. So seems to be, I mean, it broke out of this pennant. Maybe it's a flag, I don't remember. And now it seems to be following this trend line here. I just drew this a little while ago. This is sort of reminiscent of the Ethereum trend line we had about a month or so ago. We'll look at that in a moment, but I'm interested to see if this is going to ride this trend all the way up to 58 to 60, around there. It'll probably, punch through a couple times. We'll see, but I thought of drawing another structure, but this just looks simple to me, so I went with this. So very curious to see if the 50s hold over the weekend. So got some noisy people. Be thee muted. All right. So any thoughts on Bitcoin this week? All right. Let's look at Ethereum. Go to the 4-hour. And it broke through this triangle that I had left over from last week. It punched through, bounced off of it, and then shot up. So that's pretty cool. I drew another trend line starting from the beginning of the month to the current time. It has touched on this a few times. I'm interested to see if this goes up to maybe even 4,000. I still have my Ethereum short into my weak efforts to prop up the market. So actually, I like to see a dip in this, take me out of my short, and then it can go up. So it doesn't usually work that way. Anyway, just a general overview on Ethereum and Bitcoin. I'm not sure.
Is the high, right?
What's
on
that, Laura?
ETH? 36 is the high on ETH.
The recent one, yeah, it's it touched it on the 15th, and
did
touched
it go
it
to
again.
4 earlier?
Yeah, I've got the all-time high set up here around 4,300 or so.
Oh, okay.
That was
wow. Okay.
Yeah, go to the day chart, and yeah, that was back in April, May. A week before the big crash. So yeah.
There seem to be a lot of people projecting that to hit 10K by the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm hearing that too. A lot of people think we're going to pump Bitcoin and Ethereum and pretty much everything this last quarter of 2021. Works for me. I don't hodl much, but I've got some, so it'll help those.
So if you were to redo that triangle, that yellow triangle now, you'd end up with a channel, I guess, instead, right, of some sort.
Yeah, I could draw it up here. Yeah, something like this.
So when you end up with that kind of a thing, so it no longer has, now it looks like it's more on the way up.
Yeah, these things are subjective, so.
Right, because before it was obviously something to bounce off of. Now it looks like it's more like something to aim towards.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to draw these structures because I know other traders do, and I'm trying to anticipate what they do. But to be candid, I don't have a lot of training in this, and I'm just trying to figure out, where these things are going to go. Yeah, Patrick's chiming in that Ethereum was at 41.77 before the crash on May 11th. So yeah, well over $4,000. So we will
You're
see.
ahead of you're ahead of all us on drawing charts anyway.
What's that,
For sure.
Greg?
You're ahead of all us on drawing charts.
Oh, well, I really only did for the first 9 months I traded, all I looked at was the Bollinger Bands, RSI, and MACD. That's it for my day trading. And on the 5-minute chart, I would look, at the hour chart, maybe the 4-hour to get a general look at the markets. And I still do that. I have since added the MFI, the money factor index, to give me one more indicator that that seems to be at least sort of reliable. And if I get 3 out of 4 on a day trade, I'm usually feeling pretty good about that. So
You don't use the one on the right that Bryce uses. The
volume control, VPVR. I mean, I have it.
yeah.
I could load it. I just find it sort of clutters up my chart, and there's there's mixed feelings on volume. Some people think volume's reflected in the price. Some people think it's a separate indicator. But this is what Craig's talking about, and this is the volume point of control. This red line here on Ethereum on the 5-minute chart at 36.17. So that's where most of the volume is in this time frame. So price tends to return to that. If I were doing we're sort of in a dip sequence here. Got a big dip here, one. It's really more like a 1 in the old dead cat bounce. So it doesn't look like it's going to punch through again. So it might. We just got 2 red candles here on the 5-minute. But anyway, if I were looking at a dip sequence, I might choose that volume point of control as a potential exit point on a day trade. Got the SMA line just below it, the white line. I think that's my 200.
Yeah, the general trend is up, isn't it? So you could tend to think it's going to go up.
Yeah, we just had a drop, about an hour or so ago. So, and overall, most people think we're in a bull market. So, with that in mind, when I see something like this, I feel pretty good that it's going to trend up in the next hour or two. I mean, it might dip again, go through a more defined sequence, but it's hard to say at this point.
I don't know if you saw Terry's comment there about the MFI.
So did you trip out of your short?
What about the short?
Did you get out of it?
No,
Did it
I'm in
count
it
you out
negative.
with that drop?
I'm actually ladder buying it. I don't ladder buy shorts nearly as much as I do longs, but yeah, I got in probably about 10 days ago, and as soon as I shorted it, the market stopped dropping because I had 3 or 4 long positions, so I had to save those. So and it worked out.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
I'm a little superstitious, if you haven't noticed, when it comes to trading. I think it's the sports fan in me. Sports fans are highly superstitious. So anyway, so that's why I would do. I would do Bitcoin shorts instead, but I'm pretty much out of Binance now, and I'm on Femex and Bybit, and Bybit I have tied to something else, and Femex I can't do a Bitcoin short unless I'm using Bitcoin. So that's kind of annoying. So I just do it on Ethereum instead. But okay, wow, we're sort of off the topic. I did want to talk about. There was a couple of good SIG devs this week. I did a video on Tuesday. I don't know if you guys saw it, about one. I didn't set it up. So we won't talk about that. We'll do the one on Thursday, because I wanted to point out partnership. Yeah, this one here. All right, share my screen again. All right, so here's what we like. MoneyGram partners with Ripple, competitor Stellar will settle transactions with USDC stablecoin. So MoneyGram is a pretty well-known, payment company, and it mentions Ripple and settle transactions. When I see something like this, transactions, it's a practical use of crypto. I like that. So I pounced on this. I think I did a Binance leverage trade of 10x. And I got 4% in 6 minutes and got out. So that was a really valuable sig dev to me. And I also traded this one, the centrifuge. Plus they talked about it on Tuesday. I knew it was the wrapped centrifuge that was being listed, but I went ahead and bought centrifuge on KuCoin, and it made a nice move, and I held on a little too long, and then it dropped like 20%. So now I'm stuck in it. So that one didn't serve me as well, but it was more my fault for being a little greedy. But this one here, this MoneyGram was nice. That was a good one. All right. So let's go to Altcoin Alert. And you guys seeing my Altcoin Alert screen okay?
Yes.
All right. So if I sort by AA score, good old AXS is back. I mean, we've talked about AXS quite a bit on this program. And I looked at it again today. It's very bullish at 85.9. I like the mid to high 80s and 90s for my AA scores. So we'll check it out. It hit another all-time high, I think on Sunday, Saturday or Monday, but yeah, over $150, and then it's been dipping since then. So on the hour, yeah, we've got retrace potential here to 135. A 5 minute. Yeah, it's still in our screen, so I like that. It just went pretty much straight down though. It's got this squeezy dip thing going on. I'd rather see a bubble and then a dip. I really don't count this as the dip sequence that we're looking for, but it is trending back up. Had some bullish divergence a couple hours ago. It's not real helpful. But if you think the trend is strong, you want to get in now. About 1.5% to the SMA line. Got some resistance here around 4.5%. A little bit more here at 6.3, and then obviously back up here to the 136 we were talking about for 10%. This is the riskier. Obviously, the more you try to get, the riskier it is. But I do like this project. We've talked about it before. It's a gaming token. It actually creates some revenue. So on a game that a lot of people like to play, really popular in Asia. So could be a winner. Just came off an all-time high. It's retesting this. There's some support here, at least on in the near term, right around 122. So I think I would maybe put an alert down here around 120, try to catch it in a steeper dip, and then hang on for a while, see if it goes back to 135 and maybe even beyond. So, all right, any questions on AXS?
You wouldn't put a stop order in or something like that, rather than just an alert, so that when it gets to that point, it buys automatically.
Right, you can put in a low buy order. I do that
Yeah.
overnight sometimes. It's a little risky in case you catch a falling knife accidentally. But if it's a project you believe in and you don't mind being in for a while, if it goes against you, you know, there's always ladder buying. Works best in a bull market, but yeah, you can do that. Yeah, I was going to talk about something else, but it's a little complex. So let's oh, here's something for Terry. So if we go to our Axie Infinity listing here in Altcoin Alert, we can clearly see that the AA score is way above the price. So obviously you're going to get in just based on this knowledge alone that this would be a perfect trade. But, that's a little bit of an inside joke. As you can see from this, and I pointed out before, there's no significant interaction between these values. But you know, my trading friend Pat Thompson, who's been on the show a few times, does feel strongly that if there's a large gap between these two values, if the you know, if the AA score is well above the price, it's worth at least looking at. So I can't really disagree with that. So Terry's saying 100% verified. I think we're all having a sarcastic Friday afternoon. So, but so anyway, with all that information about Axie, I think it's worth checking out this weekend.
It sounds like you're thinking of this more as a swing trade as opposed to a day trade, from what you're saying.
Well, I'm trying to be a little more cognizant of my audience. So people who I know you guys do a lot of, you probably do swing trading more than day trading. So I try to look at both scenarios. And this one happens to have a pretty good.
We're making.
All right. You broke up, Laura.
I said
And now you're frozen.
that's because we're making errors.
Oh, well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, but yeah, and I mentioned this, to me, a swing trade, you know, if I can get 10% over a couple of days, I like that. So that's like a short swing trade to me.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what else in Altcoin Alert is looking good. That's the only score we have above 80 regarding the AA scores. I was sorting the Elder Impulse hourly looking for a day trade, and some interesting things came up, you know, SOL.
Oh,
Shiba. Oh yeah. Number 2, not scored. So,
yeah, I made about 100 and something % on that.
Nice. You know, if you
Had
catch
to hold it for a long time.
if you catch a FUD coin or a meme coin or whatever you want to call it, you know, going the right direction, you can do pretty well. I was shorting Doge yesterday, the day before, and did pretty well. And I wanted to go short on this, and I just couldn't pull the trigger. Yeah. Okay, Laura's talking about the involuntary swing trade. That's your you know, when you make a day trade and it goes against you a couple times, and now you're in a swing trade when you don't really want to be. Yeah, I've had lots. I wouldn't say lots of those, but probably maybe 10% of mine go that way, and I mean, end up being stuck for a few days or a couple of weeks. Actually, I was in ADA for 10 days, did 2 ladder buys, and finally got out. So, you know, with about a 1.5% profit, but worked out in the end.
Okay.
So.
Can I just ask you a bit more about the ladder buys?
Sure.
So when you do a ladder buy, you're just buying adding to that coin, or are you doing a separate buy? Like how does it actually work in a spot trade?
On ADA, it was a separate buy.
So
I'll just show it.
I've sort of found you can only have one position of a coin open at the same time. Oh no, if you're doing it on spot, you
can have multiple. So let's go to the hour, maybe the 2 hour. So I got in. I got in at 240, bummer. And then later that day, again at 226, and it just kept going down. And I was kind of on the fence at what to do about it. So I didn't do a ladder buy again right away. But when I saw it trending back up, I got back in at 212. So off the top of my head. So I've got 3 positions, 240, 226, and 212. So I combined, I set a sell order for all 3 positions. I think it was around 228, which is a little bit above my middle position. And that's how I got out. It teased me a couple times.
So basically you're losing on your first one.
Right.
But you're able to covering that loss.
Correct. So I'm losing on my first one. I'm making a small profit on my second one. I'm making a really good profit on my third one. We combine the averages of those 3 positions, it ends up being a win. So
right. Okay.
And I think, do you, when I tried this a couple of times successfully, I bought the same amount, and then on the third ladder buy, I doubled it. So to end up with a true average, I think that's the only way, right, CJ, you could come up with an actual real average.
right. At least for my bookkeeping, I like to keep the positions the same or nearly the same, but what you describe, if you have the budget, in your balance to increase the positions on these subsequent buys, that can get you out faster. Just be advised, it's risky. And I've had times where I've been stuck in these positions for weeks. I had a couple of them going in May, and when the crash happened, I had 6 of them after that, and I sold 3 for losses, and the other 3 I staked and ended up getting out, a few months later. So this strategy works in my experience probably around 90% of the time. With some additional information, or some additional training I've received lately, I've been able to do it better and get out faster and be more disciplined about it. I was kind of cavalier about it before. I'd let things drop 10, 12%, 15, 20% sometimes. And, since the markets usually go like this, it's usually better to do the ladder buys at probably 6 to 12% at the most, generally speaking. But, or, if you have a strategy that works really well, that you're profiting 70, 80% of the time, there's nothing wrong with using stop losses and just taking, losses 20 to 30% of the time, as long as especially if you do like a 1.5% profit over a 1% loss, that can be a valid strategy too. I was just taught the ladder buy thing first. That's why it's so ingrained in me and what I like to do.
Yeah, I'm in an unsuccessful ladder buy, unfortunately, at the moment with Tezos. I started at 820 recently, hoping and thinking it was going to go up with Bitcoin, and it really tanked in relation to Bitcoin, like a lot of the coins did. I mean, now I forget where it's at now. I think it's all the way down to about 740 or 720. I mean, I did one ladder buy, and then I decided to give up on ladder buying, which I'm glad I did, because I would have been chasing it down for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an option, but it's not always the best. So, all right. See, where were we? We were on Altcoin Alert, and I had just done an Elder Impulse hourly sort, and Solana came up. It's bullish. It's got thumbs down on these 2 values. It's bullish on the Elder Impulse. It's had a small rise of 3% today. I think that's worth a look. So, trying to find some. I mean, I've always used different sorts on Altcoin Alert, but now that I'm combining and experimenting with different indicators, I want to do the same thing with different sorts, sorts and sets of information on Altcoin Alert as well. So, all right. So on the daily, We had the big pump over 200 a couple of weeks ago. On the hourly, we've had a recent high of 177. Pumped up again to 168 and then dropping a bit on the hour on the 5-minute. You got that 168 retrace potential. We've got this sort of small cascading, squeezy looking dip. I really don't like these. Sometimes they just stay kind of small and just drag all the way down. You know, we got the weekend coming up, lower volume. So I think on this, do have some short-term support here at around 153. I'll probably put an alert at 153 and reevaluate, see what the structure looks like, see what Bitcoin's doing, you know, that kind of thing. Solana sometimes ignores Bitcoin, but I find that some of these coins get more mature and move up the, you know, the ladder as far as their, you know, their overall volume. They start to follow Bitcoin more. You know, I think Luna and Theta are sort of exceptions to that, but the other ones seem to fall in lockstep. All right, so that's Solana. And, you know, I thought about this when I was doing some prep, if there would be some value in matching up the AA score with the Elder Impulse hourly. I mean, the AA score is designed to be predictive. And, you know, the Elder Impulse, it's more living in the past, as most of these other indicators are, but I wonder if these would be good. I made a note to myself to check this out, so I might tinker with this. If if anybody else wants to do the same, you know, I'd appreciate it. I think there might be some value in matching up the AA score and the hourly Elder Impulse. Now, in the past, we've done sorts, you know, based on Alan's suggestion in our Slack group of the Elder Impulse and the long-term sentiment. Elder Impulse daily in the long-term sentiment. So when those are bullish, like we have here on Uniswap, you know, this can be a valuable combination. So let's go ahead and look at Uni while we're pondering that. Okay, on the hour, I mean on the day chart, we have the all-time high back in May at 43. September got up over 30, crashed down to 18, back up 25. On the hour, medium term, a high of 27. And yeah, 26, yes, earlier this morning. This is a much better looking 1, 2, 3 dip though. I kind of like this structure. We'll ignore the first one, but we got a bubble here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're a little late on this though. It's coming up. So I probably would have gotten in right about here. I'd be looking for this kind of like this resistance here. There's some more resistance here. Not a big move, but again, piling up 1%, 2% on your balance can increase it pretty quickly. So I like the structure. I'd rather see more, you know, profit potential. I mean, if you're willing to go into what could be a swing trade, use this for your exit, almost 5%, not bad. If I'm swing trading though, I usually want 10% or higher. All right. Any questions on Altcoin Alert? You guys want to do any more sorts or look at any more scores? Okay. All right. Well, I'll just throw it open to Any crypto topics you guys want to talk about?
Phantom?
I think Laura spoke up.
We look at Phantom.
Phantom. Yeah, do I have that up? Yeah, I've got it under a different yeah. All right, Phantom. Ooh, big pump. Well over 230 today. Why did this happen? Do we have Phantom news? Not really.
I think they're coming up to a big convention.
Yeah, big pump here. Don't see any retrace. We're at all-time high. You know, what do you do with this? 5-minute chart. Yeah. I don't know. I would probably want to catch this on a retrace. We've got some short-term support right around here at 220. So that might be a good entry for a day trade. Yeah. Andy's chiming in that crypto banter was pumping it. We do like that show. Laura's asking about a short. You know, maybe it'd be a bit risky. You know, and something's pumping this hard. I mean, it's due for a return at some point. So if you want to do, if you want to trade with a little leverage, I'd probably go low on it and you know, set either a stop loss or be ready to ladder buy into another position. Ladder buying short leverage is very risky though. But, trying to think the RSI. Let's look on the hour. You might want to do the 4-hour on the RSI. Yeah, it's blown out, the RSI on top. On the 1-hour, I'd probably want to see it get up to 80 or 90 on the RSI and then start to drop a little bit. And then maybe I'd consider it, but. Yeah. Jared's talking about shorting and that didn't work so well, but Laura's pointing out the volume and it is dropping. So we do have the money factor index here on this chart, and it's dropping as well on the 1-hour and on the 5-minute. And most of the candles here are red.
So when the money factor is dropping, what does that mean?
The money factor index, I understand, is just tracking the flow of money in and out of a coin. I'm not exactly sure how they do that, but it's sort of it's I think of it as a little bit better volume indicator, but you know, we have the volume as well. So
is that saying that there's more people selling than buying? Is it like the loading of the high and low of the chart?
Money is leaving at the moment because it's the MFI is trending down, the RSI is trending down, the volume's decreasing, and the candle action's decreasing. So, you know, Laura suggested a short has some validity.
Isn't that an indication to go short?
Yeah, we got 4 indicators telling us that at least in the very short term, that could be a good play, but
the MFI seems to match the chart almost identically all across the board there.
Yeah, it frequently duplicates the RSI, but not always. I'd say about 3/4 of the time it does. Sometimes I have a strategy where I want these to line up, and I have to wait for the MFI sometimes to match the RSI. I think it's just a little slower, but that's been my experience with it. So But what I like about the RSI and the MFI, they're both really easy indicators to read. They're not hard to figure out. So, all right. So that's FTM. Any other coins you guys want to look at?
Why don't we have a look at EOS?
EOS. Okay, on the day, let's see the big picture. Big pump back in May. I thought this coin was dead and it just started going crazy in the beginning of the year, and then it gave it all back. Had a mini pump here to 640 about a month ago, gave that back, and now it's trending up again. So
I certainly hope so. I'm stuck in this one too.
yeah. All right. Yeah, it's just sort of choppy right here in a squeeze pattern. Almost 5% between the Bollinger Bands, not bad. The 5-minute, got a crashing dip here. 1, 2, 3. That's a pretty good looking 1, 2, 3 dip action sequence there, but we're too late. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, get in here on the screen candle, right up to the SMA line, about 1.25%. We're almost there. So if you want to push it a little harder, you got some resistance in this vicinity here around 2.27%. Another group of candles here, 2.84. Back here at 3.8, and then again here a little over 4. So
Yeah, we're in a trade on that. It's at a 9% gain at the moment, so we must have got it pretty near the bottom of that dip.
cool. All right. Well, any other questions? I'm probably going to stop the recording and hang out with you guys for a little bit till about 4 p.m. Pacific, and then I've got a meeting. So I will go ahead and stop the recording now. For those of you watching on the recording, thank you so much for joining us. Those of you who are live and heading out, have a great weekend. Happy trading. And anybody who wants to hang out with me a little longer, you can do that. So